Matt's taking a drink. Sip, sip. Sultry sounds of Matt's drinking.
Hold on, this is...
Should we just do this whole podcast ASMR?
ASMR.
Matt's taking a drink.
ASMR, ready?
Oh, man, look at that. Look at the form of him holding that cup. Oh, God, it's got my nips hard. Oh, Jesus. Oh, jeez.
That's ASMR, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you don't have headphones on.
I don't, so I don't hear
If
it.
you got a splitter, you can hear like the...
I do.
Yeah.
So I could hear the... I could hear it loud enough from here. Sounds like you're fucking using a bong. Hey. Welcome to...
A couple years ago.
Well, yeah, right? What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up?
Matt is here with us. This is the Geek Out, Freak Out podcast. I almost went into auto mode and called it a different podcast, a completely different show.
It's kind of hard not
to.
to
It is GOFO, man.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
Doing good.
Yeah?
Doing all right. Yeah.
It is your last Friday off tomorrow.
Oh, I know.
I saw that. You're not really looking forward to it. Another thing I saw, you got
mic.
welcomed to Parenthood.
Oh, well, yeah, that's just one of the many things that's happened. But
oh, no, that's going to happen again and again.
I think I found...
Matt found an apple in the toy box and doesn't remember the last time he bought apples.
I don't even know where he got that apple from.
Yeah, I know. That's not the first time that's going to happen.
And you know what's funny is I just assumed he was going to go get a toy.
Yeah.
Because we keep his toy box in the living room.
Uh-huh.
Just, it's super easy and we can, maintain the madness there. Now Jeremy's doing ASMR. And it's happened before with other things, but this hardly really with food,
Yeah.
So yeah, I found the apple. I found one day his cup went missing, his favorite cup, and it went missing for 3 days, and I by chance saw it sitting in a corner with some random diaper boxes that had yet to be opened, and he had just conveniently placed it, probably picked something up and just left it there.
You were going to find shit in the weirdest places. Remotes, man.
Oh, no, we did. We lost the remote for 3 days.
Yep. It still happens. My daughter's 7. I don't know. Right now, at this moment, I have no clue where the remote is to the Amazon Fire Stick.
Oh, so it's the Fire, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the bad. Well, they don't have an app that you can use?
They probably do.
Roku
I bet they do.
Roku
I bet they do.
Smart, because a couple of clients of mine they just recently moved, and in the process they lost their Roku remotes.
I'm sure they do.
And I ended up downloading a app for them to use.
We don't use it often, but I was trying to use it to watch wrestling this week, and I was like, son of a bitch. Yeah. So I watched it from the living room or the bedroom where the main box is. So yeah, because we cut our costs down big time. We were about to cut the cable, but they cut us down to $30 a month. They're like, we'll give you all these shows and everything, $30 a month, but you're gonna have one box, and then you could get Amazon Fire Sticks and just download the Dish Network app on the Fire Sticks and be able to use that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, give me your dish
right? I mean, I have your. That's illegal. That's a federal crime, man.
On the Dish one, it is
on any of them. Sharing passwords and stuff.
Sharing passwords, stupid.
There's a fly in here. Dumb. I just realized.
Oh gosh, remember that one episode?
Yeah, no, that's the funny thing is I don't remember what I was thumbing through today, but I think I was going through my Twitter. My old tweets and stuff, and I had shared that episode where we were fighting the fly.
Us, the Marks versus the fly.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I got Jay Vader on the mic over there.
Hey,
Jay Vader.
Hi.
Follow
how are you?
Jay Vader 82 on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, and Instagram.
Follow me, Mateo
on stuff.
On
Follow
stuff.
me at jvader82 on stuff.
Stuff.com.
On stuff.com. Actually, you can even get me on Xbox at jvader82. Stuff. You remember that?
Remember Stuff?
Stuff and Maxim.
Maxim and the FHM.
Oh God, I remember. We used to go look at all the magazines and stuff at a little store we had here called Hastings, and I know it was you and me, and there was a bunch of other people there, but we were all looking at the magazines and stuff, and someone had prank called the store and asked them to, I think it was Mike Hunt, who they asked them to page, and the girl didn't get it. The girl at the front, she kept paging her over and over and over. She's like, Mike Hunt, you have a call. Mike Hunt, call line 1. And just over and over and over.
Her head just kind of went up.
And then some woman walked by, and we were dying laughing. And she's like, hey, was that you guys who did that? And then none of us could hold a straight face. We started dying laughing. She's all, good, I hate that bitch. And just kind of walked away.
That was at the old store, too.
I used to, I mean, nobody buys magazines now, but even back then, I never really bought magazines.
Well, Brock Lesnar buys magazines.
Yeah, apparently. But I like even like
raw joke.
Even guides for games.
Oh my God, yes.
Like sometimes I would get them, sometimes I wouldn't. But I remember one in particular was Silent Hill 2. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine and I, we would never buy it. And it's funny because we wasted more gas driving across town to go to Walmart to look up like, oh fuck, we're stuck. Let's go drive to Walmart and figure out what we got to do next.
Nobody bought it.
Yeah, and we'd get up there. Oh, they had a ton of copies for it. So we'd get up there and we'd thumb through. We'd figure out what we had to do next, and then drive home, finish it, and then realize we were fucked. And like have to go back again and do it. No, we never did it with the notebook.
I would for the Mortal Kombat ones, I would go with the little notepad. The little like turn page one. I take that smart. And, like, just write down. I wouldn't write the name of the moves because the moves are too long. So I would just write the like jumping. Like I had like J for jump or whatever. Nice. Yeah, so I had my own code, and then I would take them home and like retranslate them through. So.
Nice.
And kids will never know like having to write down.
Oh God.
I had books.
And then
like having to update them because you would like use them so much.
Remember the note section on the back of the manuals you would actually fill out?
Oh yeah.
And then I remember you used to be able to Blockbuster. You'd be able to ask for the manuals.
Oh yeah,
and you could get them, and then they just stopped doing it because they were getting torn up, and people wouldn't bring them back. I remember even to a point. What was it on 360 and PS3, where they had if you bought the game, you had the code where you could play online.
Oh yeah,
with the online pass.
True. Yeah.
And if you rented the game, you didn't have the online pass. Mm-hmm. So what I would do is I would make sure to go first day that it came out.
Get the code.
And I'd take my phone and I'd take a picture of the code and then rush home and type in the code before anyone else could use it. And I'd have the online multiplayer pass.
You jerk.
Yep. I mean, well, fuck, I'm going to pay to rent the thing. Like, I want to play. If I'm going to go rent Madden, I mean, what the fuck?
Madden.
I actually tried to play Madden 19 last night.
Oh yeah, well, did you try playing on your computer?
No, I tried playing on my
Xbox.
Xbox.
It's the first time in 10 years that it's out on the PC.
On PC? Yeah. Really? I downloaded it for Xbox One because I've got EA access where I can get it early. I get 10 hours free. So I was like, I'll play my 10 hours, see if I like it, and then go from there. Which normally I don't. I just get my fill in the 10 hours. Yeah. But there's something wrong with EA access, and it keeps telling me I'm not logged in.
You can actually use the trial on Origin.
On Origin.
Your computer.
I'll have to try that because the Xbox One is not running. I downloaded WoW for my computer. Yeah. I didn't know what else to play or what else to do. I've got the Sims and stuff on there. But I've got a friend in the military, and he's stationed in Colorado right now. He just came back from Kuwait. And he's going to be in Colorado for about a month before he gets to come back home to Albuquerque. And he has his laptop with him.
What a nerd.
And he gets to play on his laptop. And he's like, well, what are you going to play on PC? We can play something on PC. I was like, well, fuck, what do you have? And he's like, well, I'm going to download WoW. I was like, there's the excuse I needed. I'm not paying for it. I'm just going to do my free trial and then probably stop playing. You know, I got a free copy of that when I worked at GameStop as a store manager. Right when, like, the day that game came out, they gave us all free copies. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. And I just gave it to someone else.
We would all play the City of Heroes on your computer,
I fucking
remember?
Loved City of Heroes. We'd all make our superheroes.
We would all go to your house, your mom's house.
Yep.
Make our characters, and like each night was like a different person's night. So like,
did you ever play?
You'd be like, "Oh, TJ's here. TJ's here. He's probably gonna be at it for a while.
Get him off. Get him off of there."
I'm like, I live right down the road. Tell him to leave.
Yeah. Did you ever play the DC one for PS3
yeah,
and PC?
It was really good. I was basically the same game.
I maxed it out until they started adding out new stuff, and then I'd never played again. But it was a good game. I liked that one a lot. It was
fun. Yeah, it reminded me. Well, it was almost the same engine.
It is City of Heroes, basically. Yeah,
I mean, just with actual heroes.
Yeah, just you could take missions from the Joker.
Yeah,
if you're a villain.
Weird.
And then they brought out City of Villains, and you could have like your home base and stuff like that, and have your evil lair.
What was my name?
Murda Miza?
No, it was Fire or something. I made like a torch kind of a guy. I can't remember what I named him. I feel like it was like...
Was it Murda Miza?
No, it wasn't. That was the one time it wasn't Murda
Miza. Right? I want to get an old Xbox, the original one, and get Raw for it and see if we can recreate... Because Raw had like such an intuitive like
Rings of Death.
Like entrance creator. And you could do so much stuff in overlap pyro, and Matt's character had so much pyro it would bog down the game. Like it would go at like 3 frames per second because it couldn't keep up.
Not refuting these facts.
It was overload bad. But remember, you were able to. That was the first game I think you could do custom soundtracks.
Yeah,
on.
that was the big reason why. I mean, first it was a WWE game. Of course, we wanted to try and play it, and then being able to add your because the Xbox was the first console to let you install
music to the hard drive,
but actually put music on the hard drive and keep it there. And and you could play custom soundtrack games almost on all games.
Yours was Heretic Anthem, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I always think that every time I hear it now.
Oh yeah.
God, your phone looked like it was running like 3 frames per second right there.
Oh, it's a 6S. So
dude, mine, I've got the X and it's doing that shit lately. Like bad, really bad.
Are you doing the beta?
No.
No, that's weird.
And I have to turn it off all the time. The other day it just bricked on me and went completely black.
Phone. I think that's an issue though with the X.
Yeah, it's probably doing it because guess what? We're close to September.
I've seen.
Let's roll out an update to brick your phone.
I've seen
conspiracy theories.
Tech YouTubers reference that.
Yeah,
that
it irritates the shit out of me, and I hate. It's got that stupid where it dims the phone auto on its own.
Oh, that's weird.
And when I'm taking photos for work and I'm standing outside of it takes the ambient light.
Yeah.
And it tries to match it, so it'll be. I turn it up super bright when I'm outside because it's hard to see with the glare and stuff. So I'll turn the brightness up all the way, and then it'll auto dim everything for me, and I can't see shit.
That is really weird.
Yeah, and I've turned off everything I could turn off on there, and it still does it. So I'm just living with it now. I'm gonna throw it up against the wall like Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman's phone.
He launched that phone.
Yeah, he did. That was stupid.
That was funny.
Yeah, we'll save that for another show.
Yeah,
so we have a theme. We have a topic this week.
Yeah, we do.
So as this was something that happened to us all the time when we did a wrestling show, where we would have a show on a Thursday night and news would break Friday morning.
Yeah.
And
sure enough,
first fucking show back, what happened?
Sure enough, let's not break tradition.
Let's not break tradition, but big X-Men Marvel news.
Yeah.
On a
big
fucking Friday
X-Men
morning.
Disney news.
So Disney fully purchased Fox.
They got it, yeah.
The most of it. So from what I understand, they're not taking Fox News.
Oh, thank God.
Right. And the original, I read this a couple weeks ago, Disney was going to have to sell off 22 local sports networks that they owned because they're taking Fox Sports and they own ESPN. So to keep away from doing from having a monopoly, they would have to sell off 22 different networks that they owned. Wow. So they apparently did that. And then now here we are. So from what I read, it was 99% of the shareholders of Fox agreed to the sale. One person stood in opposition, and his complaint was, well, Disney's paying us too much money for this. Like, I feel like he's that one person that's just like, I'm going to say no for the democratic process. At least one person's saying no.
They're going to give me too much money.
Right.
Because that's one thing I don't want is too much money. Who complains about having too much money?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Whatever.
Did they kill him?
They should have. Yeah. But it's rolling forward. It's going to be a done deal. Mm-hmm. They're agreed upon.
Yeah, this is huge.
So it really is. And
for nerds.
And it's huge from
X-Men
a ton
fans.
of reasons, not even just the Marvel side of it. Disney now has a more present platform to release more PG-13 R-rated movies under.
Yeah.
I would think a lot of the stuff that they would produce would fly, if it's going to be that rating, would fly under the Fox banner. If it's going to be something that's a little darker, they could say, okay, Fox is going to put this out.
Disney already does do rated R movies. They just don't market it with the Disney.
No. Didn't they used to have some sort of connection to Miramax at one point?
Yeah, it was like Castle Rock or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was something weird. I think the movie The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery was produced under Disney Studios, but since it was a rated R movie,
it flew under another banner.
They flew another banner over. So it was Disney Studios that made that movie, and they made other rated R movies. They just don't use the Disney name, which is smart because, hey, we're gearing this towards our adults, that come to the parks. They don't necessarily even have to know this is even a Disney movie. We just want to make some money, which The Rock did. Which
was smart. I mean, it's really smart idea to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And have something else like a sister company to fly under the banner for that stuff. So they're going to have another platform to do that. They're going to have Fox and FX shows now. Mm-hmm. And now the biggest thing is, of course, the Marvel stuff. But this is now another platform where they're wanting to start their streaming service. Yeah. They can now have Fox movies on that streaming service.
So now does Disney own The Simpsons?
Essentially, yeah.
Huh, I just thought about that now.
Because they're going to have Fox and FX. The only thing that was going to be rebranded is Fox News, but I think it was going to stay Fox News. They were just going to fly under a company called like Fox News Corporation or something like that. Faux News?
That one?
Fake news? Yeah, that one. No, that's CNN, you idiot. You don't pay attention to the news? God.
Oh.
Stupid.
I just know that Trump thinks the F-35 fighter jet is invisible.
It's invisible. Nobody can see it. Nothing.
Invisibility is huge.
It's as invisible as Vince McMahon's hair after I beat them in that match.
Ivanka is very beautiful. She's my daughter.
You should get a piece of that.
You should. If she wasn't my daughter, I'd bang her.
You sound drunk.
Trump. Well, did you not know that Trump blamed one of his recent remarks, or the White House said that Trump was basically drunk at the mic?
Are you serious? I didn't even catch that.
That is not fake news. That is real. White House released a statement that there was too much alcohol served. DC merger. No.
Wouldn't that be shitty if Fox and DC?
Disney.
You know, I think it's funny. So everybody's up in arms, and I know there's a bunch of assholes out there who complained about Starfire being black, and they're changing the race of Starfire on the Titans TV show.
Oh, on the show?
That's not my fucking problem. My problem is
it doesn't look good.
The design and the wardrobe, of the entire show. Like, fuck Batman.
Isn't Batman? Where's Batman?
Fuck Batman.
I'm brooding.
None of it looked good. And why is Robin 35 years old and the rest of them are teenagers?
Yeah, that's what I don't get.
It did not fucking look good. Like anybody's costume design, anybody's casting.
It's too dark.
Why is not even that. Dark? It just doesn't fucking look good.
I don't mean dark, scary dark. I mean the screen is dark.
Yeah. No,
brighten up the scenes here, people.
The characters didn't look good.
See what's happening. I don't want to turn the brightness up on my TV to watch this.
And then, they did a smart move by putting it under their DC app, and that's the way you have to watch it because no one else is going to pick that shit up.
I'll watch it for all the Batman cartoons.
Yeah, the app?
Yeah.
I would want to,
and all the old Batman movies.
There's ways to watch it without that.
Yeah. It's easier.
There's ways to watch it without that.
You're talking about on a fake Fire Stick?
Yeah, that too.
Nah, I didn't do that.
Whatever you got to do. But I don't know, man. Their whole app. I just don't feel like DC has enough content for an app like that.
They're gonna. If you think about it, eventually they will because of all the shows that are actually doing good. This is one thing that DC is doing good.
So are they going to pull in their CW shows and stuff too? Get Arrow, and Supergirl, Flash.
Pull them all off. Buy it.
And put them on there.
Them off Netflix.
Still run them on there, but you could run the old ones like you just said. Take them off of Netflix and put them there. Yeah. Netflix is going to be kind of barren.
Netflix is going to be barren in a couple of years anyway. Netflix is going to have to figure out what to do because that Disney deal is essentially going to pull everything off of Disney.
Everything Disney and Fox is going to
Disney's going to have their own movie streaming service within the next year or two.
So all Marvel movies, all Fox movies, all Disney movies.
Because Netflix had the deal with Disney saying hey, we're going to be your place to show all your Disney stuff.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, awesome. And then Disney was like, yeah, you know what? Nah.
We could just do this on our own. Yeah.
We got the money. Why not do it?
So what would be left for Netflix? Orange is the New Black, which reviews all shit Netflix, this season?
All Netflix original shows.
Right.
And a couple Marvel.
And again, a lot of the Netflix original ones have not been that great.
No.
So, they've been great, but they run their course.
Yeah. But you're going to get hit and misses with major all network shows.
Right.
Name the number one show on Fox right now.
I'll wait.
No, you can't. Last Man Standing? I don't know.
Maybe.
A new Tim Allen
Oh, God.
crap?
Yeah, I forgot they were bringing that back.
Let's bring back Tim Allen.
What was it? Last Man on Earth?
Last Man on No.
What was that one?
They canceled that one.
Yeah, but that was a good show. I like that show.
Forte,
that was really good. I like Will Forte. He's fucking great.
He's good. He's funny. I thought that was a really good show, and I'm kind of bummed that they canceled that.
Yeah.
But I guess it just didn't have the legs.
Did you ever watch Baskets on
yes,
FX?
I love Baskets.
Fucking love Baskets.
Yeah, Baskets is really fun to watch. Zach Galifianakis.
FX had some good stuff.
He's
Baskets
so good.
was good. Atlanta was really good.
Atlanta's a great show.
Anything Donald Glover, I'm all in on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man comes out in a couple months or in a month or so for PS4.
Oh, that's true.
I'm kind of jazzed for that.
So let's
get into this topic, sir. What you got? You've got some stuff lined up.
I just wanted to talk about some of the previous things that since this is X-Men theme, we don't necessarily have to talk about the whole deal and merger in general. And more or less that we know that, hey, Disney now owns X-Men. Somehow, eventually, we're going to bring the X-Men universe into the Avengers. Now, are we going to reboot everything? We'll venture down that path somewhere down in the future,
right?
Because maybe they're going to do some sort of like interdimensional, like, hey, multiple universes exist, just like in real life.
Especially, with issues with the gauntlet.
Yeah.
You could always bring in extra with the reality stone.
There's alternate realities.
Just like in real life.
Just saying, just like in real life. And so an alternate reality could be like, hey, the X-Men universe where, hey, we have two. maybe they can bring both Quicksilvers, bring back to life Aaron Johnson to reprise his role as Quicksilver, and then that'll be like the amalgam sort of like combination of the universes.
I always thought it was funny that both guys who played Quicksilver were both like best friends in Kick-Ass.
They were both best friends, which is really funny.
Which is funny. I mean, I thought it was really cool.
So, I think I don't know, because there's so many X-Men movies. Like, do we really reboot everything?
If you had the pin, what would you do?
I would do the alternate universe. And I would bring in the existing X-Men team as it is now, because I think they've done okay as far as
they're not bad. It's the actors are great.
Yeah, I would swap out maybe a few. I'd probably bring James Masters. Is that his name? The original Cyclops.
Oh yeah, the new Cyclops sucks, and we'll get into that. Yeah. I brought up this article that I want to go through in a little bit, and we'll get into that. This is best and worst casting of X-Men.
I do like the current Beast.
X-Men.
I do like the current Beast right now.
Yeah. Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, Nicholas Hoult. I was trying to remember his names. We got Jennifer Lawrence. You have to keep her in.
Yeah.
She's a great actress, and she's done a great job as Mystique. I think now the cast is stronger. McAvoy's a great.
I mean,
he's a great.
Patrick Stewart's great, but McAvoy does a great job as a young X. Oh, I think you keep the young group.
And even Michael. What's his name?
Michael Fassbender.
He's a great Magneto.
Absolutely.
And it's like, I think that was kind of a misstep. And I love the original movies, but I think that was kind of a misstep with the original Magnetos. They just made him so old, and Sir Ian McKellen.
And you didn't get a lot of emotion out of him or a backstory. No. Like, you got that one scene in the backstory, but you didn't get to see his story as much. And Michael Fassbender has told that story really well.
And I like that when they did it, they basically redid and kept the same, origin story.
Yep.
But just like with a different kid at the very beginning, and then kind of like we've got middle ground Magneto now, which I like a lot.
Yep.
And the only thing that I was going to bring up, as far as X-Men being around now is if you're aware of certain X-Men entities that existed on TV.
Yeah, what you got?
So the first foray into TV for the X-Men was back in 1989. It was called The Pride of the X-Men.
I did not.
With Pride spelled Pryde. And this is essentially like a pilot episode. You can actually find this online, I believe. Pride being like Kitty Pryde, obviously. Everybody was in their classic early 90s, 80s costumes. Wolverine was in his orange and brown. You can see right there. See Pride of the X-Men. There's a whole version on YouTube. That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, and it's basically in the style of the X-Men cartoon that we ended up getting on Fox just maybe 3 years later.
The 92.
Yeah. So, and then after that, in 1992, we got X-Men.
Now,
which is a classic.
Yes, I remember.
Which ran for 7 years.
I don't remember why I hold on to this memory of it, but I remember, when we were younger, Pizza Hut used to always do a lot of crossover stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember I got something Jurassic Park from Pizza Hut once, but I remember they did a crossover when this came out, and they had the pilot episode of X-Men 92 on VHS that if you ordered a certain pizza, they would give that to you. Yeah. And it was the Night of the Sentinels episode where Morph died.
Yeah.
And I had that VHS for so goddamn long.
Yeah.
And
that's the first episode.
I think it was on Netflix for a while.
It was.
And my son and I watched it.
It's now on Hulu, I believe. You can watch it on Hulu. It's either on Hulu or on Amazon Prime that you can watch the show on.
Nice.
But yeah, it was on Netflix. I started watching it, and then I watched 8 episodes in a row one time, and then I stopped watching it, and then it moved over.
It's good shit.
It's a great show.
Really
I love
good.
that show. It was.
It's so well done.
And you can go back and kind of watch it, and a lot of cartoons back then are still a little cheesy to watch, but being able to watch that and seeing how much they incorporated certain storylines from the comics into it was really good. And that fucking song,
it's just.
And how disappointed are we that we didn't even get a variation of that song in any of the X-Men movies?
I know, right?
As popular as that song was, I mean, that you hear that theme, you think of
instantly X-Men. Yeah.
And I love Batman, the animated series, but how did the theme for the Batman the animated series go?
I'm Kind of. Like I can remember it, but it's still not as iconic as that X-Men one. Yeah,
it's a classic theme that sticks.
It's
in your
great,
head.
man.
Like,
I just see the big X-Men and like them flying the
Blackbird
over
I throw it
the
up there
words.
like with being able to remember how the Knight Rider theme goes.
Right.
Didn't. Like,
or even like Batman 66.
Or even Mission Impossible.
Yep.
Like you think of those shows and you automatically think of the theme.
You're like, oh, the song.
I say X-Men animated series or X-Men 1992 series, that's
you don't even have to say 92. All you have to say is X-Men cartoon.
X-Men. I just think X-Men in general and I hear that song. So I'm always disappointed that we never got a variation.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty.
Somebody should have made that.
Yep.
So that show went for a long time, or a couple years, pretty good for a cartoon, especially back in our day. And then we had X-Men Evolution. Did you ever watch that? I loved
X-Men Evolution.
And that show, I think, was all like on the WB.
Something like that, yeah.
And so back in 2000, I remember watching that a lot with my brothers because they were, I think, about 7 or 8 years old at the time. Actually, 10. About 10 years old. So being able to watch that with them, and that was cool because it was a different take on the team.
Right.
The characters were younger, and like the majority of them were younger, and Wolverine was still the oldest one. He's always going to be the oldest one, but it was just a different take on that. But I don't think it lasted nearly as long. There were a different couple characters. I think we had Spike was one of them. Yeah, Spike, who was Storm's nephew, which I don't ever remember hearing about Spike until that show.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and I remember reading comics, and maybe he was in the comics, but I honestly don't remember.
It was a good show. I remember.
Who did the voice for Wolverine on that show?
For Wolverine, the voice actor
Scott McNeil.
Yep.
Though similar in most ways to the classic Wolverine, I'm reading this off of Wikipedia, had been seriously toned down in violence, having a slightly different hairstyle, and was designed to be more of a role model. I do remember him not being so much
not
of a
ripping
jerk.
people's face off.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about the cartoon, the 92 one. He was an asshole.
He was a jerk.
Yeah. He was classic Wolverine.
He was constantly being dumb. Yeah, which was great. So after that, that show, I was right, lasted about 4 years, 4 seasons. Mm-hmm. Had 52 episodes.
2000 to 2003.
Really good. Didn't have as good ratings, according to, I think, IMDb. Yeah. But
7.9 out of 10.
But still pretty good. That was a real fun show to watch. And then we had the highly forgettable Wolverine and the X-Men. Have you even heard about this show?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, this one was done 4 years after Evolution had ended because we all need X-Men fixes.
Yep.
And I liked the animation style. I just didn't like the show. It was different. It wasn't. To me, it didn't feel like an X-Men. Maybe I had already outgrown it. But yeah, it was just I think it was in that time of like where animation was going on, and they all kind of looked the same. I felt like animation was just getting kind of cheap at the time. Like as far as being able to make stuff.
If this is the one I'm thinking is, there was a series of comic books that I liked a lot. It was Astonishing X-Men. And they were written by, oh damn it, how can I remember his name? The guy who did Firefly and Wheaton. Yes, Joss Wheaton wrote this series. And they borrowed a little bit of this from this, if this is one I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
Xavier and Jean were dead.
Yeah.
And Wolverine was trying to pull the team back together. And he was like reaching out, trying to get Cyclops, and Cyclops is mourning Jean Grey's death and everything like that. And he's trying to get the team back together. And this one's somewhat like, it starts off kind of the same way that Astonishing X-Men did.
Yeah.
Astonishing X-Men had this really great plot twist in it. And I stopped reading at one point, but up to this one plot twist I thought was really good. They had found an Omega level mutant or whatever. I think they were calling it was an Omega level mutant. And they were being held captive by William Stryker. And they were all convinced it was Jean, and Jean was alive. And it was up to this point, Cyclops had I think it was his sister was dying. And the only way to save her was to do a blood infusion with his mutant blood. Oh, wow. And it killed Cyclops. Or not, excuse me, Colossus. I don't know why I said Cyclops. It killed Colossus trying to save her. And they kept saying there was an Omega level mutant. And they showed up, they were trying to bust the mutant out. And Kitty Pryde, it was because up to that point, whenever Colossus had given his life for his sisters, Kitty Pryde was in a relationship with Colossus. And you get this moment where you see like just this disbelief in Cyclops' face and just disappointment. And they start shooting at Kitty Pryde, like the Stryker's agents.
Yeah.
And she phases, goes invisible. The things go right through her, and you see tink, tink, tink. And then that reveal, she turns around and Colossus is just standing right there behind her. And that was the Omega level mutant that was captive, was Colossus. So you got the disappointment from him, and then you got this, hey, we brought Colossus back. And it was a really cool moment written in the comics by Joss Whedon. Cool. And that was, as soon as he picked up from the Marvel universe, I was like, fuck, this guy was in Buffy, he did Firefly, and then this comic book, he knows what he's doing. I read this comic book, it was so good. Yeah. I think it was Joss Whedon and Sean Cassidy were the ones who did that book. And it was a good series. It was a really great series.
That's awesome. I kind of want to go back and read those.
You can get them on. Have you ever used the Marvel app? Yeah. Yes, I love that. Yeah. I like going panel by panel and reading them. Yeah, because it'll just fit the panel into your phone,
and it goes into the actual sequence.
Yeah, sometimes. I thought that was really cool.
Throws us off a little bit.
So, what's your next X-Men show?
So, the next X-Men after Wolverine and X-Men, that was the last of the animation series. Was Wolverine and X-Men? We currently don't have any. So, almost 10 years went by, and then we got Legion on FX.
Legion was all right.
Yeah.
I watched the first series or first season. I didn't watch the second.
And they kind of allude to it being in the X-Men universe. They haven't gone outright and just said, "Hey, this is
hey, he's Charles Xavier's kid,
David Hyde."
Yeah,
or whatever his name is.
They don't really come out, but they allude to it.
But I dig it. The first season I really liked a lot, and I haven't been able to watch the second.
Neither have I.
So I'm gonna go back and watch it. I think it's on Hulu, so I can watch it on there or on the FX app. And just go and get her done. But I do like it. I like Aubrey Plaza a lot. I like the character.
She was a great character in there.
And her character gets a little bit more crazier in the second season. Nice. So I'm interested in seeing what she's able to do in that. And then on top of that, we had another show, I think, that came out, which is a Hulu exclusive, and it's called The Gifted. Mm-hmm. Have you heard about The Gifted?
Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's good or not.
Let's see what the
Pull up the ratings on there. So The Gifted. Yeah. I have Hulu. I just haven't gotten around to watching.
So do I. I'm behind on so much shit.
I think I got
a 7.6 out of 10.
I think I got confused because The Gifted was coming out, and so was Cloak and Dagger, which is like on Freeform.
Yep. I really wanted to watch Cloak and Dagger too.
Young teen.
Yeah, I just like Cloak and Dagger from the comics. I thought they were great.
I really enjoyed the pilot episode of Cloak and Dagger. I saw it just by chance on TV, and I was just watching it. Hey, so The Gifted has good ratings. So yeah, I just Cloak and Dagger is really good. I know they don't have anything really to do with the X-Men, but that's a pretty awesome show. So yeah, those are the last of the shows. So we have far more X-Men film movies. You're gonna find out.
Yep, let's count them. We have
Actually, they missed one there. There's a TV movie that came out, I believe, in 1996, and really? I remember it because it was advertised on the back of a few X-Men comic books, and it was called Generation X back in 1996.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, if I go back and look at my comic books, I guarantee you I'll find the cover of it. So yeah, Generation X TV movie. Yeah, there you go. Generation
X.
Yeah, there you go. Click on there. I'll read off the plot. That's right there. Yeah. So the main character in this movie, it
was Jubilee.
Jubilation Lee. Rebellious teenager Jubilation Lee finds herself in trouble after her mutant fireworks power manifests itself at a local arcade, much like the first episode of the cartoon. Hey, what do you know? She is rescued. This is where it goes different. She is rescued from her predicament by Emma Frost and Sean Cassidy, the headmasters of.
I don't know why I said Sean Cassidy was a writer. There's a writer on there that last name Cassidy.
For Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, they recruit Jubilee and offer her sanctuary at the school. A place where mutants learn to control their powers. The trio then picks up teenager Angelo Skin Espinoza, and I don't know any of these actors' names, so I'm not even going to say them, and proceed to the school where Jubilee and Skin are introduced to their fellow students, Mondo, Buff, and Refrax. And this is where they kind of went wrong. They went through and they created all these extra characters that didn't exist so much in the comic book universe, but they made them so that they existed on the show because I guess there wasn't enough teenager mutants, and they wanted to keep it young. So that's what the Generation X was. And I remember seeing the ads for them on the back of comic books, and that's where I definitely. And I remember never watching it. I remember always thinking like, what happened to that movie that was supposed to be about the X-Men? And it was supposed to go to theaters, but ended up just being a TV movie because I guess they didn't have money to get behind it. Oh, a little bit of trivia for you. X-Men 1992, the animation series. Do you know how that got started?
How?
So there was a RoboCop animated
Did you know this
series.
Before,
yes.
or did you read this now?
Yes.
Okay.
There was a RoboCop animated series also aired and produced through Fox. Now, instead of doing the last season of that RoboCop animated series, the creator was like, hey, I want to do the X-Men one instead. can I just stop doing RoboCop? And they're like, okay. And so they let him do the X-Men.
I remember the RoboCop series. I had all the toys and shit for the RoboCop series.
So yeah, the RoboCop animated series ended because they wanted to do X-Men instead.
Huh.
Yeah. If they had decided to continue to do RoboCop, there would have been no X-Men animated series.
Well, some bitch.
In 1992. So there you go. Something that because they took the funding for it. They're like, hey, we've done it. We think we've done all we can with this RoboCop and kids, whatever. Let's try to do the X-Men.
Huh.
And they had that 1989 pilot episode, and they tried to go from there.
I dig it. That's cool as hell. I did not know that.
Yeah, so a little crazy information there. So yeah, that was the first X-Men movie, was Generation X back in 1996. 4 years later, we got a pretty decent X-Men movie in 2000.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. And you know what's crazy? And I vividly remember this. I remember being a kid, and this is well before 2000. This was, I want to say it was probably middle school. But I remember being like on the playground and talking about, like, dude, they're making an X-Men movie. It's supposed to be out in like 2000. Yeah. And being like, what? Fuck you. Like, that's so far away. And then 2000, there was an X-Men movie. Yeah. But I vividly remember that conversation.
Oh, I remember back like in...
I don't know, like, where as a kid we would have saw, like, oh, they're making an X-Men movie.
It's all those crazy rumors you make up as a kid, like...
But something fucking came true.
Like Marilyn Manson removing his ribs.
Oh, he moved his ribs so he could deep throat himself.
He could blowjob himself on stage. Did when you go to a Marilyn Manson concert, he blows himself on stage?
I've been to a Marilyn Manson concert. He never blew himself.
Pretty disappointed he didn't.
But I got to see Ozzy Osbourne's ass, if that matters.
Oh, yeah. He does moon everybody at his concerts, huh? Oof.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good thing I was far up in the amphitheater on the lawn.
This is Ozzy at every concert.
You know what's funny? And I had listened to the Talk of Jericho podcast, and Jericho brought it up. He's like, "Oh yeah, Ozzy has a guy that sounds a lot like him that just sits off stage and sings along. You know that, right?"
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, and Jericho had brought it up. He's like, "This is a little bit of behind the curtain." He's like, "But yeah, Ozzy has a guy that because Ozzy will miss the notes or he'll forget words and stuff like that from here and there.
Oh my god!
So they have a guy standing off stage with a microphone that sings along with Ozzy.
That's hilarious.
So that way, if Ozzy misses or anything like that, they go right along and they don't miss a beat.
So if Ozzy's just like,
it's not a track. It's still live.
If they're like hearing an Ozzy in the inner ear, and he's just like, so they just turn Ozzy down and let the dude sing.
Yeah,
man. So I probably heard a little bit behind the curtain,
and that's what sucks too, because there's an Ozzy concert coming up that I really want to go to with Stone Sour. I'm just like, I might just go watch Stone Sour and leave. I'll just go home once Stone Sour is done. Yeah. I've already seen Ozzy. I don't feel like I need to again. Nah. What's he gonna sing? What new shit does he have out?
What new song does Ozzy have? I just rolled my eyes.
Yep. Back in my head. You could hear it on the podcast.
Yeah. So after X-Men, we had X2. Which was pretty awesome.
It was alright. I dug X2.
It had that great opening scene with Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best use of the BAMF that we've ever seen. Which I don't think they could have pulled that off in the first movie.
No, hell no.
But
not at all.
And it was only like 3 years later. But like the jump in special effects was so much so much better than it was. I just remember seeing him. I love the story that he had. I was disappointed that he didn't come back for 3.
Well, going back to the first one, I love the story that everyone thought that Magneto was after Wolverine.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was Rogue the whole time.
Oh, in the first movie, yeah.
We skipped along. We got away from that. But I love the story that one told. And then X-Men 2 told a great story.
Ray Park played Toad.
Yep.
And Ray Park, who also played Darth Maul in Star Wars. Just an amazing actor. Super cool dude.
What else has he been in?
I got to meet him at...
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, one of the sci-fi cons in Albuquerque. And he showed up late to his panel and his booth. So he was like, hey, everybody can come up here and just come up and say hi to me for free because I'm late. I'm sorry and I apologize.
Oh, no shit.
And so as soon as he walked, he had a line of people that were waiting for him to show up. But as soon as he showed up, he walked right by me in the backpack and gave me a high five. Because he was wearing a backpack. And I was like, that's Ray Park. And I just turned around and got a line. And he just like, everybody can like take a picture with me for free.
That's cool.
Deal. Yeah.
So he also played Aaron Black in Mortal Kombat Generations TV series.
What?
Yeah. You never watched that? It wasn't on TV. It was on YouTube. Yeah. It was really good.
I saw that.
It was that really dark one with, I think, did it have Michael High White as
yes.
Jax? Yeah. He was also Snake Eyes. That was the other one that I was thinking of. Was Snake Eyes. He was in Spartacus. He was in Fanboys as a security guard.
He played Chuck Norris in the Legend of Bruce Lee TV series.
Have you ever watched Fanboys?
Yes, I have seen.
I didn't even know that Ray Park was in there.
Ray
He was
Park
a
plays
THX
him,
security guard.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was Toad. Before that, he was Raptor number 3 in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
He was the second Baraka?
Yeah.
Weird.
And then he was his first big break was Darth Maul, and then Toad.
Oh, he was in Ballistic? Oh, what a horrible. Do you remember Ballistic?
X versus Ever?
Yeah.
God.
That was
Didn't
based
they
off
make
a
a
game.
video game?
No,
the game was
made,
made? Oh,
and then they made that movie. Yeah.
Ugh.
Because I remember thinking it was going to be a good movie, and then I played the game, and I was like, oh, this game is not good.
There's a rumored unannounced Snake Eyes movie.
So there could be a Snake Eyes solo movie?
Rumored and unannounced, yep.
This has to be Snake Eye G.I. Joe, right?
Yeah. You would have, because, I mean, he played Snake Eyes in G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Interesting. Yeah, so Ray Park's super awesome. You get to meet him in person. Really cool dude.
That's cool.
He's not that tall.
Really?
No, but he's ripped.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
And he's so cool. If you ever see him like at the cons and stuff, he is not one to venture away from showing off his sweet lightsaber skills.
Oh no, I've seen that. Yeah,
like they're amazing.
He'll go at it.
Yeah, and he goes full blown with everybody's double bladed lightsabers.
So when we're done running through the X-Men movies, I've got some, and some of these we'll disagree with because I've already looked through some of them. But it's best and worst casting decisions in X-Men movies, good. And it's gonna be fun to run through it and just see what we agree and what we disagree with.
Then we had X-Men: The Last Stand, which was pretty bad.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was a different. It did some things that I wanted, but it didn't capitalize on
Well, we
them.
had the allusion to the Dark Phoenix in X.
Yeah.
And then we kind of got like a weak payoff. It was
Very weak payoff.
Well, Bryan Singer had left.
Yep.
Had left doing the movies to go work on Superman.
Yep.
And how great that turned out.
Oh God, right?
Superman was amazing. But so we got The Last Stand without Bryan Singer.
That was a Brandon Roth one that he left for, right?
Yeah. And so it definitely suffered. It felt like a totally different.
It was terrible.
It was the first time we got Beast on in the film. Was played by Kelsey Grammer,
right? Which wasn't bad casting. It was bad capitalizing on.
Yeah,
like you hear that casting and you're like, you know what? I could see that.
Yeah.
The voice. You picture the voice from the cartoon, and you hear Kelsey Grammer's voice, and you're like, okay,
yeah. I think, but there was definitely some dialogue in there.
I didn't write enough for him, and they didn't the treatment of the character was bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Casting was great. Treatment of the character sucked.
Juggernaut sucked in that movie.
Oh God,
I love the actor, but I just didn't like
that. Was terrible.
Yeah, and he did. But there was
the Juggernaut, bitch.
But there was that YouTube video of him of the character saying that. Remember, we watched that before, and then they took that and threw that into the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah. That was a viral video that went on. That was a really early. I remember watching that video back when I worked at the college. Yeah, so I remember laughing.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
So that was supposed to be the last of the X-Men movies.
Yep.
And then it got announced, hey, we're gonna do origin movies. We only got
one origin movie
because oh my God, it was bad.
It was bad.
The first Wolverine.
It had some good moments to it. I think if you take out the whole Deadpool thing, it's passable.
I think if you take out the whole Deadpool thing, if you take out
all the Deadpool
pre-ops part, if you take out the whole movie,
it's passable. It's not good. It's not good. But it was your first time seeing some of these like Blob and stuff like that. You're like, oh, that's kind of cool. I would argue that Liev Schreiber played a pretty decent Sabretooth.
Sabretooth, and no knock on the guy who played the previous Sabretooth. He was really good. But I was just kind of like, how did he go from this Sabretooth to long hair, 6'10" Sabretooth?
They just pretended that didn't exist is what they did. Yeah.
So, oh man, I should have brought up, I used to remember Wizard?
Yeah.
That magazine?
Mm-hmm.
I remember them talking about an X-Men movie being rumored. And so they did their own cast, predictions.
Oh, who they would want?
So they had, I think, Danzig as Wolverine. Yeah. Danzig as Wolverine. They got Professor X right. I don't remember who they had for Storm because I don't know. Yeah, let's see. Maybe how well did Will? Okay, perfect. In 1995. Oh, there's a BuzzFeed article about it. Great.
How well did Wizard predict this?
So they got Patrick Stewart right. Wizard predicted that Professor X would be played by Patrick Stewart. This is 1995, and they were right. Good job.
Wizard predicted to see Bishop played by Michael Dorn.
We didn't even get Bishop in any of the movies until the very, very end. He was played by Omar Sy.
Dolph Lundgren to play Colossus.
I would have liked that.
Okay,
cool.
I see that.
Yeah.
I see that.
You know what's funny? I think I still have this magazine like in storage.
Do you really?
Yeah.
They thought Michael Biehn would be Colossus.
I don't even know who that is.
Neither do
Oh,
I.
Purple Hicks from
yeah,
Aliens.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Okay.
Roll ended up going to James Marston. I said Masterson. My bad. I'm sorry.
Marston, yeah.
Oh, Wizard.Storm could be played by Iman. Iman, the model.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't she
I can see
be
that.
married to David Bowie?
I think so. Yeah.
But they went with
Halle Berry wasn't a bad choice
Smart
either.
call.
The Raging Cajun Gambit as Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I would have liked that. That would have been good because I always imagined that you wouldn't be able to understand.
Mon ami, oh no.
Yeah, so how funny to put Jean-Claude Van Damme, who has a very loose grasp on the English language.
They said Nicole Kidman would be a great choice for Jean Grey.
Oh yeah, she would have been good. She was definitely very
We
hot
got
back in the day.
Famke Janssen, who
Not
wasn't bad until the third movie.
Oh, I do remember this. Wizard's vision of Psylocke was
Tia Carrera.
Who was that? You may ask.
All right.
She was in Wayne's World.
Yep.
I don't know.
She would have been good.
Yeah.
So
But
they
she
got
would be
that
funny.
May Melancon in that
Sort of. In Last
and then you
Stand.
got Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
Who no.
Which they left the door open for her to come back.
No,
Wizard
though.
thought that nobody better for cable than the 65-year-old Clint Eastwood.
What the fuck? I mean, I kind of get it the way this
They
one picture of Cable was. Like, I get the facial. That's it. But
I
what
think he
the
did
fuck?
Unforgiven instead.
Oh my god.
And instead we got Josh Brolin.
Yep, which was a great casting. Like we had talked about this before a long time ago. Who was your picks to play Cable? Who would you have cast before Brolin? Like, I mean, it's hard to say now because Brolin knocked it out of the park.
I thought Brolin did a good job. You know, Lundgren would have. I mean, Dolph Lundgren would. I think would have been okay.
I saw a lot of people say John Hamm.
Oh yeah, John Hamm would have been.
I think
good.
John Hamm would have been
He
really
has a
good.
big build for it. Yeah.
And he's a smart ass.
Yeah.
But I liked what we got from Cable.
Yeah.
So.
I do like Josh Brolin as Cable.
They said Magneto would be Rutger Hauer.
I have no idea who that is.
Rutger Hauer, I know from Blade Runner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was a replicant.
And we got Ian McKellen. Clancy Brown would have made a great, or he was the Kurgan.
Oh, in Highlander.
And they thought he would have made a great Sabretooth.
Yeah. But we got two people, Tyler Mane and Liev Schreiber.
Tyler Mane was a professional wrestler.
Yeah, he was.
But I don't think he was ever like on TV or anything, was he?
He was never big, yeah.
They thought White Queen would have been Rebecca De Mornay.
Seinfeld punchline.
Who Juggernaut.
Go
Pro
up.
wrestler Vader to play Juggernaut.
Wow, that would have been great. Rest in peace, Vader. Wow, that would have been good. Who was that? January Jones. That's who it was. Yeah.
Yeah, they thought, remember Pro Wrestler Vader? Me either. Is what it says.
But there's been two people that have played. They left one out. They left out the one that was in Wolverine.
That's right.
Yeah, that was.
But it was just that young girl. They don't really like allude to the fact that she's Emma Frost, but she has the powers of Emma Frost.
And okay, so this is Wolverine. He said Wolverine
Glenn
is pretty
Danzig.
metal, so Glenn Danzig for Wolverine.
Mother.
And now he just hates life.
Right? That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So they only got one right.
That's cool that we're able but I'm still impressed that they got one right though.
That's
Like,
good.
but that was a pretty spot on. Like, I don't think you could have cast anybody other than.
Could you imagine the 1995 X-Men?
No.
It probably would.
Do you remember the old like Incredible Hulk and Thor crossover?
1996 Fantastic Four. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the? I saw it on HBO. I don't know if it ever aired anywhere else, but it was a Nick Fury movie with David Hasselhoff as Nick
that was
Fury.
Sci-Fi.
Was that sci-fi?
Yes.
I saw it on like Cinemax or something.
Oh my
once.
god, that was bad.
Yep, that was terrible.
So we had X-Men Origins Wolverine. We both agree we hated it. We originally, I think, enjoyed the idea of Ryan Reynolds being Deadpool, the character Wade Wilson. They just didn't capitalize it, and they went
not at all.
Totally opposite direction. And God, it was bad. X-Men First Class was up after this, and this was kind of like a reboot into.
I dug First
Class.
Class.
I loved First Class.
It was a good movie.
And at first, I was not a big fan of it. I didn't think it was gonna be good, and I remember not watching it in theaters. I didn't watch it.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah,
kinda.
after I was scarred after Wolverine.
Yeah.
I walked out of Wolverine, Origins Wolverine, like pissed off.
Yeah.
Because one, the claws looked horrible. Like there was a close-up scene, and like they just looked so bad. And I went and watched it with two friends at the time, both who don't even live here anymore. And I was just muttering to myself like, "This is crap. this is a bunch of crap. They're ruining Wolverine. And, you know, one of them was my friend Katie, and she's just like, what's the matter? I thought you loved Wolverine. I was like, I do. This is a Wolverine.
This is Wolverine. This is not it.
Wolverine.
I don't know what that was. I just watched, but that's not it.
And then at the very end, oh my God, Baraka Deadpool was horrible.
Oh, it's so stupid.
First Class I liked a lot. I thought it was really good. I loved Kevin Bacon as Sebastian Shaw.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon played that role.
I don't know who else could have played that role, but it was amazing. Fassbender. This is when we got the new cast with Lawrence and Fassbender and McAvoy. And they're doing such a good job.
I even thought the girl who played Moira McTaggart was great.
Oh,
too.
she's great. Rose Byrne.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Rose Byrne.
She's great.
She played that role great.
She's awesome.
And was that the one that we got? Oh God damn it! How can I remember his name?
She was at the very
Oliver Platt.
end. Yeah.
Was that the one that we got Oliver Platt in when he was helping her out?
I believe
he was with
so.
the government.
Yeah. And,
or was that the second one?
And there's Taggart. This is also Taggart's second time back in the universe because she's at the very end of Last Stand.
Yep.
Where Professor X is supposedly still alive.
Yep.
And he comes back. So yeah. First Class we both liked a lot. Then we got the Wolverine, which was the second installment of
I loved the Wolverine.
Really good.
Have you ever watched the R-rated version?
Yes.
So good.
Yeah, really good.
I loved that story. It was putting right back on track the way it needed to be. Like it told a really great story. It wasn't too like it was out there, but it wasn't cartoony.
And it was a deleted scene in there that wasn't in the movies in the theatrical
with
version,
the yellow costume.
The original.
It was
costume.
the ending.
And I was just like, oh, that would have been so good. And it just like that would have been so good to see him in that costume at some point, like a flashback or something, like doing like co-ops, samurai missions.
Who knows? I mean,
great.
he's always said the one reason he would come back is if he was able to work with the Avengers.
That's true. X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Not bad. It was not a bad movie at all.
I liked that movie. It was really fun for me. I think
watched
it with a group of people.
The drop off for me on that reboot was Apocalypse, and it wasn't necessarily a bad movie.
Apocalypse was 2 days later, a movie later.
Yeah.
So Days of Future Past, I really enjoyed a lot. I actually won a prize package through Galaxy Theaters.
Nice.
I answered something online and then I got it. I was the first person to get it right. I can't even remember what it was, but they ended up giving me like a hoodie with the X-Men logo on it, which was like a double XL at the time. So I was like, I have no use for this jacket.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the Wolverine in First Class.
Oh, First Class
when they were trying to recruit, and he's like, "Fuck off."
Yeah, get out of here. Leave me alone. Which comes back at Days of Future Past. Yep. Yeah. So I really loved Days of Future Past. So that was really good.
It was a good like melding of the two.
Yeah,
it was really cool to see the way they pulled that off. And it
brought the young cast and the old cast together. So that was pretty.
It was
awesome.
really cool.
After Future Past, we had the first Deadpool. Really awesome.
Great movie. The
best of the X franchise, probably.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. And they try to, not make it something that it's not supposed to be.
No, yeah, it was 100%
Deadpool,
comic booky, breaking the fourth wall. It was Deadpool. They stayed true to it.
There was a few different characters, but I love the inclusion of Colossus being involved from the X-Men and getting a different fun Colossus as opposed to all the Colossuses we've had.
And us bringing in another member of the X-Men that a lot of people weren't familiar with in Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Like, it was a good move.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And, I mean, I enjoyed that movie so much.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah. Did we need to go watch that together?
I think we did, probably.
I feel like we did. Then we got X-Men Apocalypse in the same year. Oh, this one hurts me.
It started off all right, but it just never went anywhere that I wanted it to go.
Like, it just... They humanized Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why'd you do that? And then the only time we saw him kind of like show his apocalypse powers was in a dream sequence, kind of like, and it wasn't really him.
Whenever he grew, and Oscar Isaac was not a good actor to play Apocalypse either. And
then we got that tease of the Four Horsemen to the end of Days of Future Past. It looked so cool, but then the Horsemen we got didn't ride horses.
The Horsemen were horse shit.
I wanted the horses. That was the whole point, was for them to ride in on horses. Fun fact, in the comic books, at one point, Wolverine was brainwashed and was actually once a Four Horseman.
Yep.
Yeah, great stuff. So that was a down note. We had a brief appearance by Logan, Wolverine, in that one, being set free. So supposedly the kids are the ones that set him free. The ones that were trapped in Stryker's lab. So just a mind melding of all the timelines coming together, erasing Last Stand altogether.
Basically,
in Days of Future
that's
Past
what they were
and
after.
Apocalypse. They cleansed the palette, sort of, and I think everything before, everything after X2 was erased according to the timeline. So even the Wolverine was erased in their timeline.
Yeah,
apparently.
Which still, that's one of my favorite X movies.
Yeah. So then we got Logan in 2017, which was amazing,
unbelievable. It was a great friggin' movie.
The best comic book movie, I believe.
Yeah. I think that and Dark Knight are one
I
and
said
two.
Deadpool was the best X in the franchise. I actually take that back. I think it was Logan.
Well, just the writing and stuff for Logan
there
was so
wasn't as
good.
many X characters in Logan, so maybe it's not really an X-Men movie.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, but
I mean, it is because you got the reference to the mutants. You had X-23. It
did
is
a great job.
It is an X-Men movie.
And then we had Deadpool.
Deadpool 2. And Deadpool 2 was pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of I was skeptical because I read a lot of bad stuff about it, and it turned out being as good,
and that one's still
or
fresh
if not
in
better.
our minds because it was only out 2 months ago.
Yep, it was as good, if not better, than the first. Like it capitalized on a lot. It was on par.
I was not disappointed by Deadpool.
No, not
2.
at all.
I highly enjoyed it. I stayed through the very end again. I loved how he kind of fixed his own timeline.
Oh God, where he killed Ryan Reynolds reading the Green Lantern script. So good.
This is it.
And then he killed the other. He's like, hey Logan,
it's fixed. It's fixed.
That was so good. If I could turn back time.
So it was great.
That's good shit, man.
Yeah, so.
God, I want to watch all those movies now.
Yeah.
Like that's
even the bad ones.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, sometimes a bad superhero movie is still a fun movie to watch.
Oh yeah. No, Stand is pretty bad, but I'm not gonna say I hate it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's run through these real quick, see if we agree or disagree with some of these. So this is 18 casting decisions that hurt the X-Men and 17 that saved him from Screen Rant.
Do it.
And this was written, I think, fairly recently. Yeah, it was yesterday.
Wow, it's yesterday.
So, hurt the franchise.
Yes.
Vinnie Jones as
Yes.
Juggernaut.
Yes.
100%. I agree. Save the franchise. Ian McKellen as Magneto.
Okay.
I think for that series, he played it well.
For that one,
for
I guess
that timeline, he did well.
Yeah.
Hurt Rebecca Romaine
Yes.
as Mystique.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. She can't act.
Never liked her.
Saved, absolutely. Patrick
Yes.
Stewart as Professor
So
X.
good.
Hurt Sean Ashmore as Iceman.
Yes.
You think?
Hurt, yeah.
I thought he was okay as Iceman.
They could have got a better Iceman. Iceman was Iceman. He was never Ice Boy. And we never had Iceman.
You're true. Yeah. That's true.
We never had a full-blown Iceman. They should have just made an Iceman. He
It
was
would
always
be-
an adult. He should have never been a kid.
I wish this would have happened sooner in the comics because it would have been a great
And
way to
first
play out
of
for
all-
movies.
First of all, it was never Iceman and Rogue.
No, it never was.
Gambit and
Yeah,
Rogue.
it was Gambit and Rogue, 100%. I wish we would have gotten this moment in the movie somehow because I like the way it played out
I
in the
like when he
comic
got his
books.
head broken off. And
Hell yes. Did you ever see how Iceman came out in the comic books?
No.
Did you even know that?
Oh yeah, he's
That
gay.
he came out
Yeah,
as gay?
right, yeah.
But it was his past or future self went back in the past and told him.
Came out.
No, like
came out the
debuted.
door.
No. No, he
How do you do it on panel?
right? No, his future self.
Here.
His future self went back and told him, he's like, look, I'm not powerful because you cannot be real with yourself. He's like, we could be so much more powerful if you would just let go of what you're hiding. And then he came out as gay, and then when he went back to the future, he was more powerful.
Oh, wow.
So it was a cool, interesting, and when they're doing timeline stuff, you're like, that would be pretty cool for the movies.
And even so, like, in a lot of the characters' backstories, not only are they mutants, but they all have, like, personal problems. Like, Polaris has, like, struggling mental health issues.
And see,
She's a great character. And it's just like, if you delve
Jubilee
into
was the
characters-
runaway dealing with her
like,
acceptance and
there's
her
more-
issues.
It's true with most comic book characters. There's a deeper story to them than just
Well, that
their
was the thing
powers.
with X-Men. You know, we watched it as kids, and we were like, oh, it's just these cool guys, and they
Wolverine
can do
has
cool
claws.
stuff. But when you get more of an adult and you start realizing that they were written, that Stan Lee wrote these with Jack Kirby, so that way it was a series that could talk about civil rights.
Yeah.
Because they were humans. They were technically people who were not accepted because they were different than others. And it was delving into the whole civil rights issue. And this is his way of coping and dealing with that and putting out a product out there that people could latch on and relate to because they were not being accepted.
in the original X-Men team, there was only, I think, 2 Americans on there. And the rest were made up of multi-ethnic.
But moving on, saved Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
And I missed the
100%.
boat. I didn't bring my Gwenpool character.
Ah, damn you.
Figure.
Hurt, absolutely.
Yeah,
Oscar Isaac
and I
as
love
Apocalypse.
Oscar Isaac. He does such
He was
good
great
job
as Poe.
Dameron.
Absolutely, but he's not a good Apocalypse. I did not like that casting at all from the beginning.
Wait, go up a little bit. Go up. It says some nifty post-production work may have improved his appearance, but it did little to enhance Isaac's surprisingly stilted performance.
It wasn't a good performance at all.
And he did look like Ivan Ooze. I never got over that.
No, not at all.
Like Ivan Ooze from Power Rangers. Well, Power Rangers will be a theme for another show.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for that. Saved Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
I think we even mentioned that before we even saw it.
Even with Origins, it's still great casting, and because of Origins that he felt.
Was that actually Reynolds playing that character?
I think so.
We're looking at the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always thought that was a body double.
But it was because of Origins and him being so pissed off at the way they did it and not being happy that he pushed to make Deadpool happen. So we wouldn't have the Deadpool today if it wasn't for Origins.
Yeah, it had to happen. You're right.
Hurt Nicholas Hoult as Beast. I disagree.
I disagree. I like him.
I do too. I thought he played Beast really well. Yeah. Saved Halle Berry as Storm.
Yes,
absolutely.
She was such a great addition to the team. And she was like that star power because Hugh Jackman wasn't a star yet.
Right.
And so the big name attached to that first X-Men movie was Halle Berry. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of like what got, I think, more people interested in seeing like, holy crap, Halle Berry read the script and she's going to do it. She's a good actress.
What was Hugh Jackman in before that?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Little things here and there. He was on Broadway. He did musical theater. But
take a look.
Yeah.
It says Hurt Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique. I disagree with.
I completely disagree.
Now I would argue that in First Class she wasn't quite as strong. But when you I don't say it hurts anything. No, I mean, but for them to say that, yeah. But as you get into Days of Future Past, she is like a wrecking ball.
Oh no,
she's amazing.
Her presence on screen is so much better
now. Saved Michael Fassbender as Magneto. Absolutely, we both talked about how much we love Fassbender as Magneto. Hurt Ty Sheridan as Cyclops, young Cyclops.
He's the kid from. He's the kid from
Ready
Player One.
Ready Player One, yeah.
So in all his movies, he wears a visor.
I pretty much right. I don't blame this on him though. They didn't write enough for young Cyclops. They didn't do him justice. Mm-hmm. His casting may have been a little better, but you're doing a young Cyclops. I think he fits that character a bit. Yeah. It's just the writing for that character was not.
I bet that's not even. He probably just has like green dots put on his head, right?
Right. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Saved Anna Paquin as Rogue.
No.
You don't think Anna Paquin did good as Rogue?
I never liked her as Rogue.
Really? I thought she did all right.
Forgive my language, but there was a complete pussification of Rogue. She was a badass.
Yeah, you're right.
We never got.
But is that on her or is that on the writers?
That was on the writers, but we never got a cool. But she never felt that imposing.
No, she didn't. Rogue was a fucking force to be reckoned with in the comics.
She was awesome.
Why are you excusing your language?
I don't know. Moving on.
Hurt Olivia Munn as Psylocke?
Yeah, she's not really established as an actress. They just wanted to get a hot girl that was willing to wear the costume, I think.
And again, you get the issue of whitewashing with it because Psylocke is an Asian character. Yep. Yeah, and you're right. Like, I mean, am I happy?
Thank you for bringing that up.
Am I happy we got to see Olivia Munn in some purple spandex? Yeah, but I could have saw that in a Comic-Con or something instead. I didn't have to see that on screen.
Dressed as Psylocke for
but yeah, I mean, why would you not find somebody who was a little more true to the character? Saved Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
It was good.
It wasn't bad. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Hurt Tyler Mane as Sabretooth.
Yeah, Sabretooth was pretty bad.
Yeah. Saved.
Oh, yeah.
Alan Cummings as Nightcrawler.
He's great.
He was
Loved
great.
Him. Yeah.
Hurt Taylor Kitsch as Gambit.
He almost killed. I can't believe he was in the first Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
Gosh. Someone somewhere in Hollywood really wanted Taylor Kitsch to be a star.
And it did not work out. What do you think about if it does still finally pan out?
It's not going to happen.
You don't think Channing Tatum will end up being Gambit?
I feel so bad for him. They pulled him out on that thing and nothing ever happened.
He would have been great, I think.
Yeah, been good.
And his family, he's got Cajun in his family, so I think he could have pulled it off.
And he was hot in Magic Mike. Just moving on.
There you go. Moving on. Save James McAvoy as Professor X. Abso-fucking-lutely. McAvoy was so good. Hurt almost. Ben Foster as Warren Worthington III.
Yes. Oh, Ben Foster.
God.
Go back to doing Disney shows.
Saved Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth. He did the best with what they gave him. Yeah. He was a better Sabretooth than Tyler Mane.
That's good.
Hurt Dominic Moynihan as Bolt.
Oh my God, he did play Bolt.
Yep.
Oh, so sad.
Saved Brian Cox as William Stryker.
I remember him being in the movie. I just don't remember him being Bolt.
Yeah, he was Bolt. Brian Cox as William Stryker, I thought was great.
He's a good actor.
The older William Stryker was a good job. Hurt Ellen Page's Kitty Pryde.
I disagree.
I liked Ellen Page's Kitty Pryde.
I liked her Kitty Pryde. I just felt bad that the Kitty Pryde character kept getting recast.
Yeah.
She has a different actress in 3 movies.
Yep.
3 movies, and then she was in it back to back.
Saved Evan Peters as Quicksilver.
He's a great Quicksilver.
Yeah, no, he plays that character
and the little bits
well.
and pieces that he gets to do are really, really good.
Hurt Danny Huston as William Stryker. Now this is the X-Men Origins William Stryker. I could have taken or left this character. I mean, I understood why he needed to be there, but it was just not pivotal.
I think we've got enough.
So we have 3 different William Strikers. You know that, right?
We got a super young William Stryker, middle-aged Stryker, and old Stryker.
Saved Sophie Turner as Jean Grey.
I love Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner plays that character so well.
Yeah, and she's done such a good job as Jean Grey.
Hurt. Yes. Will.I.Am as John Wraith.
Burn him to the ground.
Yeah. Will.I.Am was terrible. Saved Josh Hellman as William Stryker.
I did like the fact that
young William Stryker.
When he died, not Stryker, but when Will.I.Am died.
Yeah. Did you applaud?
It was him. Yes, I almost stood up in the theater because they grabbed him by the spine and killed him. So thank you, Liev Schreiber.
Hurt. Peter Dinklage as Boulevard Trask.
No.
I liked Peter Dinklage as Boulevard Trask. I don't know where they're getting at.
Yeah.
Says it's not anything that Dinklage does. Instead, it's more that the role is woefully underwritten, giving the actor little to do. I agree with that, but that's not his fault.
Are they making fun of how tall he is?
Right,
giving
woefully
the actor little to do.
Saved Kevin Durant as Blob.
Oh my god, that was so good.
Blob was pretty good.
Blob was awesome.
Did you just call me Blob? Hurt. Famke Jensen as Jean Grey.
Yes.
She didn't play a very good Jean Grey. I mean, she was okay, but
she was a hottie in GoldenEye.
I didn't fucking ever put that together that she was Xenia Onatopp until now. I don't know why.
That's all. Yeah, she was. Yeah. Oh wow, they said the original
Olivia Williams as Moira McTaggart. I
don't think she was featured enough, but okay.
How's that saving? Yeah. And Hurt Daniel Cudmore as Colossus.
He almost ruined
that Colossus was terrible. It wasn't. We didn't get a good Colossus until Deadpool.
Yeah.
I mean, the Colossus that we got was absolutely shitty.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fake Colossus, so.
Yeah.
But did you know that they brought in Daniel Cudmore to play Colossus in that movie?
I had heard that, yeah.
Yeah. And then they're just like, no, we're going to go a different route.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
It's a real Colossus. He's huge. So, yeah.
He plays this really well. And he's actually Russian.
Yeah.
That was the thing, when he was the kid.
In X2,
he was not
That was
Russian.
a little bit of a bummer. That was kind of a drawback.
It always pissed me off. I'm like, he's not Russian.
Yeah.
He's got an American accent. That's not Colossus.
He shouldn't have been so young either.
Remember the moment where Wolverine takes Cyclops' RX-8 and it's playing in sync?
Oh, yeah. It is. It
was playing Bye, Bye, Bye.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
That was good. I liked Pyro in those movies.
Pyro was
really good.
Yeah, I just wish. I mean, I understand it's gifted school of youngsters, and technically there would have been only one youngster, which would have been Jubilee, who never made an appearance in the movie until the very end, and even then it wasn't that great. But which was a bummer. I always felt like, and even in the last one, I thought they were gonna go into Jubilee.
I would have loved to see more Jubilee.
Yeah,
maybe we will.
Yeah.
So immediately after the merger was announced,
going back to
rumors started
Apocalypse,
that.
Though,
oh, go ahead.
I do like the formation of the team and their outfits at the end.
Yes, I do too. I thought that was really good.
Jennifer Lawrence always says it's gonna be my last X-Men movie, and then she just does it.
She just comes back no matter what. It was announced, or not announced, but it was rumored right away that Marvel had put the can on New Mutants and Dark Phoenix, but someone's come out and said no, that's bullshit. They're moving forward with those.
Yeah, because they've already wasted all that money making them.
I mean, New Mutants is done.
Yeah,
they're in post, and Dark Phoenix, I don't know where it stands.
There's a lot of re-editing being done to New Mutants to kind of
I'm sure.
away from that horror vibe.
And you know what? That kind of bums me out. I liked that it was going to be something different. I really did like that it was going to be something different.
You didn't know.
How cool is it that both Stark daughters from Game of Thrones are now in X-Men movies?
Yeah, that's great.
That's really cool.
Awesome.
I would love, I doubt they will, but if they wanted a really great spot to bring in some X-Men or Fantastic Four, Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
If you ran with the Secret Wars story and you brought in Doom and having Doom assault Wakanda, then you would be able to, because what happens when Doom and all of his troops were coming after Wakanda, Black Panther relied on the X-Men and the Fantastic Four to go against Doom.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to play that route, it would play really well. Because, I mean, no knock to Black Panther, but there's not, other than Ulysses Claw and Killmonger, who we've already seen, there's not a lot of Black Panther villains that you can reach from. So if you want to go with Doctor Doom and have him introduced, and you want to make that your next phase, which is really smart for Marvel making this play now, because with the events of Infinity War and how many people were left, we don't know what's going to happen to them now. Yeah. Now you're building and you're showing that now we have a bench. We have people that we can go to, and we have stuff we can add on for phase 3.
Yeah.
So, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot moving forward.
And I think
is it phase 3 or phase 4 now?
Oh, I think we're in phase 70. Right. I think a big reason for them being able to get X-Men and going forward and being able to complete the deal is like, hey, we're getting ready to wrap up this huge storyline in the Avengers. It'd be nice to have some non-Avengers storylines. So what we're going to start getting is non-Avengers Marvel movies, and X-Men's going to be a great way to.
I think so too.
Now, however they do it, it's going to be interesting to see. I like the idea of including the Fantastic Four in with Black Panther. You can kind of be like a Reed Richards, kind of be like involved somehow. Like, oh, we have somebody that we work with, and then he's lost. Him and his whole family just went disappearing or whatever, and then like boom, they come back and they find him.
They're gonna make any sort of joke that oh no, because he's dead now. Because Michael B. Jordan was.
Oh yeah.
I never watched that Fantastic Four. Did you?
I did. Yeah.
I did not. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
There was only like I think 16 minutes of actual Doctor Doom, which is pretty bad.
I kind of dug the old Fantastic Four movies, like the Rise of the Silver Surfer shit. They weren't that. I mean, they were cheesy.
They were bad,
but they were fun. Yeah. They were good popcorn movies.
Yeah, they were.
They weren't good, but they were fun to watch.
They were super kid friendly.
I liked Michael Chiklis is the thing. Like it was so he was great as the character pre-thing, but no.
Jessica Alba, I mean,
she can't act very well.
I love her. She's very attractive, but she's not a very good actress.
No. But Chris Evans was great in that movie.
Yeah, Chris Evans as the Human Torch was great, and I don't even remember the actor's name that played
Doom.
I remember Doom, but the Doom was the guy from Nip Tuck. Where is he at now?
Right.
And then even the guy who played Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards. I don't know what he's doing.
I feel like I see him pop up every
now and then, but he doesn't do anything.
It pisses me off. I can't remember the actor's name. So, I know who it is.
Ian Grofwood was Reed Richards. Yeah, who was that? And then, look who's Debbie McAven. Look, Laurie Holden.
Yep, Laurie
Walking
Holden.
Dead.
And Kerry Washington.
Washington. She was the blind girlfriend of the Thing.
Yep, I remember.
Oh my God, I forgot.
What else was
his girlfriend would have to be blind
King
for her to
Arthur.
like him.
That's right.
He was the one that died,
and he was in Titanic. Apparently,
he
Fifth
died
Officer Lowe.
King Arthur.
Those movies were okay. They were definitely, I think, from what I understand, they were probably better than the reboot that we got. That was just because I believe the story behind that reboot was, if Fox didn't make another movie, they were going to lose the license.
So they wanted to make it, and they wanted to expand on the X-Men universe.
Oh, is that what it was?
And so, I think partially you are right.
I meant the reboot.
They were forced.
Is that the one you're talking to?
Reboot, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they were their hand was also kind of forced to do something with the franchise to keep the license.
Because they lost Daredevil in the same way.
Yeah. And so they made it with the intention to include it in the X-Men universe if it succeeded.
And it never did.
Didn't.
Because that was the thing, is they were losing the rights to Daredevil and Fantastic Four at the same time. So they quickly made a Fantastic Four movie and lost the rights to Daredevil.
And you can, they did it really quickly because they did reshoots for that movie, and they looked bad.
Well, look at the gamble. It didn't pay off for them. They ended up, Daredevil ended, I would argue, granted season 2 was not that great and Defenders was passable, but Daredevil ended up becoming a bigger character than Fantastic Four did based off of that. Yeah. So their gamble didn't pay off for them at all.
Sucks for them.
Did you get any questions?
Oh, yeah.
I know I got one.
D. Blake.
Two, I think.
Right? D. Blake
yeah, he asked, what's first, Fantastic Four reboot or X-Men in the MCU?
X-Men.
I think X-Men in the MCU. That's going to be your quicker bet. And, God, if there's something that they could go forward with, and I doubt we'll get it now, I always wanted X-Men versus Avengers. That comic was great. And I know it's really hard to... Holy shit. If you're a wrestling fan, 9 minutes ago, ESPN reported Glenn Jacobs, a.k.a. WWE's Kane, is now officially the next mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. This is the geek world that we're living in.
Okay. So, I think we kind of already we already discussed this, but Alex wrote, you can follow him as Garcus80 on Twitter. Better portrayal of Mystique, JLo, or Rebecca Romaine Stamos? Hands down.
Hands down, yeah. Let's forget Rebecca Romaine was even in there. Because that was, even the spot where they had Jennifer Lawrence turn into her, it was still like, ugh.
Weird. I was like, no, you're
no. Rebecca Romaine looked like shit when they did that. And I had one more question as well. I'm just trying to find it. Brian Bell asked us, he said, with the upcoming Avengers 4 next year, what do you think the outcome of our past present heroes and the battle, or what do you think of the outcome of our past present heroes in the battle with Thanos?
Thanos dies.
Or what do you think of just where we stand, the way Infinity War ended, is the way I take that question.
What do you mean?
Did you enjoy the finger snap?
Oh, yeah.
I dug it. I had someone ask me the other day, because I've got my Captain America tattoo, and my wallet is... my kids bought me a wallet, and it's a bunch of like comic book covers. And someone at Allsups had asked me at a convenience store, he's like, oh, so you must be like a big fan or something, right? And I'm like, yeah, no, of course I am. And he's like, oh, what'd you think of the finger snap? And I was like, it's fucking amazing. Like, I loved it. Yeah. He's like, really, bro? You liked it? And I was like, I liked that they had the balls to pull it off. Yeah. That's my thing, because it's such a major event in the comics, and so many people died that they fucking pulled that off. And so many people walked out of there. Like, it was so somber.
It was sad walking out of there.
I loved it. I'm excited to see what's moving forward. I really am. There's a lot on the table, whether it be with Avengers, whether it be with X-Men. If they do go forward, do you think that they try to have some sort of cameo at the end of Dark Phoenix that would start tying them back into the MCU? Would that be the smarter way to do it? Is to have some sort of small cameo.
I think you see one character.
Yeah, and that's what I think. Like, kind of the way that...
To bridge.
Kind of the way at the end of Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton that we got Tony Stark showing up.
I would not mind somewhere in Dark Phoenix, they break something in the universe, which in the comic book, in this is totally doable. Something breaks in the universe and, like, interdimensions. Like, we can do interdimensions. And Ant-Man's exploring that.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is exploring that, like these alternate, dimensions that exist within our own universe. So that could be very possible. Like, it breaks something,
two together or something.
Two of them happen and they come in, and I would not be opposed to that.
Would you rather see an X-Men tease?
That's a lot of rebooting to have to do to build up to a team.
Right. I don't think you reboot. I don't think you do. I just think you rehash with what you have. Like, you start writing better for them. Because the cast isn't bad.
Yeah.
Would you rather see an X-Men tease at the end of Avengers?
No.
Or an Avengers tease or an MCU tease at the end of an X-Men movie?
I think at the end of the X-Men movie.
I think that's a smart way. You give that time to breathe, and for us to almost forget that they have that property.
Because that's going to take a lot of sort of like just time to build like a crossover event.
I think so too.
And then so I think it would be doing a disservice to Infinity Wars to include like sort of an X-Men teaser, which Infinity Wars is already, I think, in post.
Even if nothing else, they just use the name mutant.
Yeah, I think I would enjoy.
I think that would be a bigger thing. Like, it's subtle, and for us fans that know, like look at what were they calling Scarlet Witch? They had another name for.
Enhanced
or something like that.
Yeah,
but they didn't refer to her as a mutant.
Yeah,
so. I think it would be cool to just use that word. Like, even if you didn't show any X-Men or anything, just use that word. And that is your signal that, we've done it.
Yeah.
And just to know that, okay, we can use the word mutant now. Like, that would be...
We own it.
That would be such a cool little Easter egg to add in there.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I like it.
I like it. I do.
All right. We fixed it.
We fixed it. We wrote it. All right. You guys are welcome. X-Men on us. You guys have that one for free.
I didn't bring it up, but X-Men game real quick. What's your favorite X-Men video game?
I really liked a lot of the arcade ones, like Children of the Atom and stuff like that.
Really about the original, like one for the Sega Genesis.
That was all right. Yeah. I dug that. X-Men Clone Wars for the Sega Genesis I thought was really good. But the one I really liked, it was on Xbox and PS3 or PS2. No, it was X-Men Legends.
Okay.
Where it was that top-down Diablo style, the one that basically set the groundwork for Ultimate Alliance, the Marvel games. Yes. I really liked X-Men Legends. I thought that was great. The Wolverine game for the Wolverine movie was not bad. It was kind of like...
better than the movie.
It was a lot better than the movie. It played a lot like God of War.
Yeah, it was a God of War with Wolverine.
I actually had some X-Men games pulled up.
Cool. I didn't even know that.
Spider-Man, X-Men... Arcade's Revenge. I played that one. X-Men on the Genesis. That's the one you talked about. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse on the Super NES.
Interesting.
X-Men Children of the Atom on the arcade, and that was also on PlayStation. I remember Children of the Atom. That was a good fucking game. Do you remember the NES X-Men game? The top-down one where like Wolverine had his claws out and stuff? No. It was Uncanny X-Men. That was the very first X-Men game in 1989 for the Nintendo, the original Nintendo. I'll pull up a video or a picture of it while we're wrapping up so you could take a look. X-Men 3 Mojo World on the Game Gear and Master System. Ravagers of the Apocalypse on PC. I'm trying to find more that I remember. X-Men Mutant Academy 2 on PlayStation. I don't remember that one. Do you?
I do not. I don't remember that one either.
On the GameCube, The Next Dimension. Someone remember that one? X-Men Legends. That's the one I'm talking about. Oh, it was a role-playing game. You got different suits and stuff for the X-Men.
It was on the N-Gage.
It was on N-Gage. Wow. Jesus Christ. X-Men Legends 2, Rise of the Apocalypse. That was a great story. X-Men the official game. I think I played that one for the GameCube and PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360. Huh. That was for the movie.
Oh, The Last Stand.
X-Men Destiny. That was interesting. You got to create your own mutant and play through the game. And there was one of 3 different types you could play through. And it wasn't that great of a game. I think my son might actually even still have it.
Interesting.
Uncanny X-Men Days of Future Past. I didn't even... No, that's on iOS. No, I didn't play that. Wolverine games. There was 1991 for NES. There was Wolverine Adamantium Rage for Genesis. Remember that one?
Yes.
I played that one. Wolverine's Rage on Game Boy. Wolverine X2. And then X-Men Origins Wolverine. That's one I think we were talking about, yes. Right? Yeah, that one was good. Canceled games. X-Women for the Genesis. It would be a follow-up to Sega's 1995 Genesis title, X-Men 2: The Clone Wars.
It would have focused on the female members of the X-Men.
Marvel superheroes. I played a lot of the Ultimate Alliance games. Did you ever play any of those?
Those are fun.
And that's, I think, why I liked X-Men's Legends so much, is I was a big fan of the Ultimate Alliance games. I actually own both of them on PlayStation 4 right now. Yeah. And I dug that. That's one we didn't bring up. Remember Superhero Squad? God damn. And then, of course, the Marvel vs. Capcom games were featured with a lot of X-Men. I think which one was the fighting game? Was it Children of the Atom was the fighting game?
I don't even remember.
There was an X-Men fighting game that was on arcade. And I just remember playing the one, because there was like Captain America and the Avengers, and then there was an X-Men game like that where it was side-scrolling, beat 'em up like Streets of Rage. But it was X-Men, and it was. I remember the console having like, for the like the board for the arcade had like 8 different sticks, and it was all the different X-Men you could play as.
Oh, okay.
And you had like whichever one you were sitting in front of.
You had to like go sit.
You had to sit in front of it, and that's the character you got. Jeez. They did the same thing kind of with the Simpsons game. Do you remember that one?
I do remember that.
And it had like 4 or 5 different areas, and you could play as the whole family.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody fight over Bart.
Right? Because Bart had the skateboard.
I'm going to be Bart, because I'll be home.
I'm going to be Bartman, because you could always unlock that one moment where you could be Bartman for a little bit.
For the special.
Yeah. So I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's a good show, man.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to make sure to keep an eye out on our Twitter for our next topic, send in your questions. You can either tweet them to us.
You'd be able to vote, but we kind of took the reins.
No, I mean, this one, we'll do a vote for the next one.
Yeah.
This one was... I mean, we kind of had to. Yeah. I mean, we weren't even planning on podcasting this week. No. We were going to wait a week and do it. And then news broke, so we'll see what tomorrow holds. We'll see if any news breaks tomorrow. All right. Make sure to send us any of your questions, comments, emails to God damn it, to GoFoQuestions@gmail.com. You can find Matt at Mateo83 on Twitter, me at JVader82. We're on Instagram at GoFo Podcast. Keep doing that. You're throwing me off, but I love it. Dun, dun. God, I'm thrown off altogether now, man.
Yeah. No, I think you did it all. JVader82.
We don't have a script.
Twitter,
we don't have a script for this like we did with Smart Marks.
Jeremy said email us for questions, or if you guys are interested in supporting the show, GoFoQuestions@gmail.com.
Make sure to follow us on Twitch, on Twitch, rate, review us on iTunes, Stitcher. Are we up on Spotify now as well?
Yes.
Any place you see all your 5-star ratings, your tie-in ratings, those all help us out.
Yes, please.
So please make sure you leave a review.
Subscribe.
We might even read your review online. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
If you leave us a review, we'll read it online. We'll put you in a drawing for something cool.
Boom.
There you go.
Boom.
All right, guys. I appreciate it, and I know Matt does.
Yeah.
Sing us out again.
Da 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 da. Boom. The Geek Out Freak Out podcast is produced and edited by Matt Salgado and Jeremy Holman. Special thanks to Rock My Bit for the theme song.